Paper X slammed B long every single round? This specific powder keg is known for shocking the world with her otherworldly comps and mind-boggling strats, but to do this? How did something so stupid work? What's so attractive about B long that made Paper X want to slam it every chance they had? I mean, the worst part is that this worked really well. So in today's video, we're dissecting this fustercluck of a match and figuring out how Paper X have once again pioneered a new age of Tier 1 Valorant. But Teets, Deadlock again? So many teams are running her. But why?
Viper is much more meta on this map.
I don't have time for this. Here, Jimmy, let me introduce you and all you guys to Polybuzz, and you can just ask Deadlock yourself. Polybuzz unleashes your creativity by allowing you to create your very own chatbot, including personality and voice, meaning they can be anyone you can imagine. Like here, I created Deadlock to distract Jimmy so I could finish this breakdown. Hey, Deadlock! Why is your kit so good on Bind?
Well, Teets, Bind is a very close quarters map, and my kit abuses that fact. My gravity net punishes enemies for contesting space on offense, and on defense, it's perfect for trap plays. Its radius is huge. Then once my team takes the site, I can finish the rest. My barrier mesh and stun sensors makes retaking a nightmare. And because my utility is so good in the post punt, my teammates can use all of theirs to execute with and not worry about saving any.
Straight from the horse's mouth. And not only that, but Polybuzz can help you improve your social skills as you learn to talk to various amounts of people. This is the ultimate social app. So with over 10 million downloads worldwide, Polybuzz is a must-have app that you can download with my link. I even worked something out with them to get you a ton of premium features. Just enter my code TEETS22 in the app, and bam, you're good to go. So if you want to unlock your creative potential with Polybuzz, go click the link in the description. Thank you, Polybuzz, for sponsoring and supporting this channel. Paper X's pistol strat is interesting. 4 of their members are primed to wide swing long and apply major pressure on the defense, then rejoin the raise over on showers. Now, you're going to see this literally every round, and to be honest, I didn't know why for a while. I even watched the game over and over and over. I consulted with a bunch of other analysts that I know. I even asked my girlfriend who knows nothing about the game. She told me that it had something to do with the parasites in the middle of long and drew this picture. I don't know, I have no idea. But the answer actually was pretty simple. They're just good at it. Yeah, I overthunk it. When you dissect their comp, one thing really comes to mind: crowd control. You have Raze's paint shells, Fade C's, Deadlock's Gravnet, Clove's metal, Brim's orbital strike, all of which are fantastic at taking Garden. They've also replaced Viper, who's normally controlling pressure levels on A, with Clove. Their smokes can isolate and take different levels of long. Then on top of that, they have an extra smoke to take B site through that one lane that Paper X's comp is built to smash. It just works. But how are Wolves going to respond to this constant bombardment? Well, let's find out. In their 2-3, Yor can be at either site quick with just a flick of his wrists, but that won't be enough to contest long. Paper X spring past the buy phase, all dry swinging long behind a ruse that caps off Garden. If you're Fade, no shot you even attempt to jump peek this scary thing. But the offense just take pot shots at Lysor's cam and leave, but it wasn't broken. Normally, this amount of long pressure would scare defenders away, not wanting to lose their life. But Lysor has kept his spy cam in his pocket and has waited a bit before slapping it down and calming Fade down. Or maybe it wasn't intentional, I don't know. He set up with barely any time to spare in the buy phase. But this extremely meta camera spots the entirety of long and has just cleared this lane, meaning Yor doesn't need to burn his teleport just yet, especially because him and Raze spot each other by showers. The rest of her team is sprinting back through cave, but Clove hangs back. They want to make sure that no one's leaked out of hookah and lurk up short late while the bulk of their team pushes through shower. They scale, hugging the left to min-max their close-range frenzies, but Mindfreak finds the first blood, which triggers a map-wide reaction. Yuika smokes, Sufat seizes from long, Paper X Boombot and Prowler, but both are cancelled by Brim's Molly. They start to back out to help their Clove up short.
But they
don't need it.
这个 timing 的选择非常的合理，3连发，但是没有对过 YU。然后这个3连发有点犹豫啊，但后续影响不大啊。Paper X 因为
This opening kill won the round for Paper X, but being able to fight long this easy without any contention, that's going to be a big problem. But also, Paper X still ran into 3 people on A after all that. Maybe they need to hit long harder. On the anti-eco, all 5 Paper X players ran it up long, because hookah is the most claustrophobic spot in all of Valorant. It is a prime feeding spot for classic right-clicks, shotguns, SMGs, teleporter traps, all things you commonly see on eco rounds. So why deal with all that when you can do this? Gravnet cleared Octo, Boombot and Prowler cleared close, Clove smoked off hookah in case anyone was in there, and the cleanup was easy.
高点位的一个鬼眼效果还可以，这个就是我们刚才在赛前说的雷兹这个踩雷飞剑对于点内的这个轻巧和进。
As a matter of fact, it was so easy that Paper X are doing it again. Kinda. Similar to Pistol, they're going to create a ton of noise on long and return to Brimstone, who's holding short and showers. And now Wolves have noticed that Paper X have taken long for relatively cheap in back-to-back rounds. So they've swapped out Cypher for Brimstone in hopes that a smoke can make Paper X think twice. But they don't care about no damn smoke. The round starts and the offense satchel and sprint, spraying randomly behind their Prowler, Gravnet, and a ruse deeper than we saw on Pistol. Sufat has no choice but to back down, but using either a Prowler or Haunt isn't going to find much value. Her choice? Fight, and Raze gets called over.
Ah! Raze, come here! There's like 8 people! Get your nade ready!
Are you sure? Paper X have vanished. They knew that this sudden burst of aggressiveness would at least drag over one rotate, and they're right. But even more so, Cypher has backed off into Heaven, and Yoru to back sight with his gate crash expiring. But that's okay. With their deep trip, they'll know if this long pressure was just a distraction and bring Raze back if broken. Paper X move up shower, snip the trip, and storm sight with a Prowler, Boombot, and nade for bench, and a barrier mesh for extra aura. But Lysor loses the spam battle in the process. Forsaken reinforces sight with 2 sun sensors, Juicy triggering one of them. But his team needs an equalizer. His team needs a hero.
这个自己把自己的主力屏障给打掉了，而且吃了个满闪 ，Juicy， 断了2个，没子弹了。
但是队友的补强也到了，这个时候再踢到 B。
The defense have arrived, but Paper X are out. Now Wolves make the immediate decision to send Raze on a market flank. Doing so is much sneakier than taking the teleporter and might catch Devi off guard, who stayed back in hookah. The 2 other Wolves are headed through spawn, but are locked out behind a smoke. But Spring, why are you making so much noise? The whole point of this route was to be sneaky.
不是不是已经被听到了？感觉有可能已经被听到了。打歪，直接 pick 出来，收掉了 Spring。
危眼再丢，
大脚步的声音已经听得很清楚了，1v1，
危眼
对 Sufat
应该会秒打 ，OK，
秒打，大脚步过来没有问题 ，Sufat
这就是 Paper X， 其实
After hunting from elbow, Sufat repositions right away. This round was way too close, and moving forward, Wolves cannot allow Paper X to have such a stranglehold on long. Because they did, the defense's rotates were scrambled, their positioning was out of whack, and it almost cost them. Last round was so close that Wolves weren't able to buy the following round and were forced to half buy. They were forced to half buy. Half buy. Why aren't you half buying, you brain dead duelist? Forcing like this on offense isn't as bad, as everyone can group up and take their turn with the forced rifle. But on defense, when you're all spread out, idiot. Paper X are slamming along again, and Juicy is all the way on the other side of the world. Maybe someone wants a judge next round? Who knows? Paper X 4-1'd and didn't use any utility to scale, but Wolves had 3 players here ready to fight with a Seize nade trap.
你肯定是跑不了的，除了夜路之外都跑不掉。
晋应该会考虑拿一下球哦，
有爪，踩雷飞剑啊，这个非常经典的一套组合。
重力补网直接给补到之前能多打1个，但 Forsaken 也是拿到了一波双杀，两边在互换，换完之后
Forsaken saved his team with his Gravnet, the perfect tool for fighting Garden and punishing aggression. He and his teammates later then locked down B with triple smokes, stun sensors, and a barrier mesh. Can the lone Guardian beat all of this?
我的位置的，哦，对方还有贴片。 这位置一旦开了枪，贴片就会给你控制了
啊！贴片得打，贴片得打。这个脚步听到了。
Juicy 在被震的情况下还一磕了对面，但优势已经完全倒下。
With that round loss, who's taking one for the team and not getting a rifle? Sorry, Brimstone, no gun for you. Now, if Paper X were to slam into this 3-stack, it wouldn't be that bad of an idea. But they're not. In previous rounds, they've either 3 or 4 manned along and had a weak side where 1 or 2 lurk up. But why do that when you can send all 5 players up long? Paper X have realized that nobody's playing in hookah, so the offense are investing all of their firepower into fighting Octo in case Wolves do it again. And the attackers are getting that space. There's only 2 agents here, and neither of them can beat back all of that.
So we don't have the capacity.
The barriers drop, and Paper X W key pass fountain are up long, and Fade is forced to drop. But all the offense had to burn was a Prowler. Hey, remember all that crowd control that I mentioned? Well, it's great for also overwhelming B, and Wolves are about to feel every inch.
烟都只有7
勾团队的。
但我现在就找不到能够去破解这个技能的办法。你看典礼，
但还行，第一时间重力补网直接
玩焰火呢？
玩焰火躲了。 有大，但是留一手还是倒了，直接给一个闪出来买命的，枪给回 Y
这还行吗？好像不太行了。
而且天际光束有天际光束 ，Silver 这个位置会被隔绝一下，玩一会儿直接炸了一个，但落地面前面对3个人
1v3 ，Forsaken 还有大，这一分的悬念已经完全没有了。
Triple smokes, paint shells, boombot, molly, gravnet, haunts, barrier mesh, showstopper, and later an orbital strike. Literally anyone and anything playing this site is going to be obliterated. Paper X's comp is just too good at taking long with a gravnet, seize, or here 5 maniacs behind a prowler and then dumping sight through 1 choke because Hookah keeps getting smoked off. Wolves need to do something about this. Wolves take a timeout to figure out this B long problem. Hey guys, why the long face? Get it? Long face. Coming out of the timeout, Wolves chose to deal with Long by ignoring it, for now. This round, they didn't have any weapons to truly make the adjustment they wanted, and chose to triple stack Hookah. Since Paper X are barely putting anyone there, the defense can either flank during the retake, or flood in during the execute with some well-placed cages. They opted for the later, but it didn't matter. Paper X 5-manned Long again, and Jin got to the high ground to peer over the top of these big circles.
要补了，不能往下跳，跳要被补到的。
滑着巡游撞了半线，
这个重力波好像还是补到了，
补到了，但留一手
只能打一个，但这个协同直接到位了，你这根本没法打呀。 贴片的 timing.
With that eco out of the way, Paper X are doing a complete 180 and are going showers. They recognize that in that timeout, Wolves were probably going to be yapping about how to deal with that long problem. And Paper X used this eco that we just witnessed as one final statement to say that we're taking long no matter what and there's nothing you can do about it. Doing this would trick Wolves into over-adjusting on their full buy, which is right now. And turns out, that's Paper X's whole game plan. That's what their comp is built around. Start the game off by dumpstering long and B-site with all their crowd control utility until the defense get fed up, over-rotate, and then Paper X go do something else. Like 4 swinging showers. Something lobs his haunt, and of course it doesn't get contested. Wolves have 4 starting towards B. Raze grabs a free orb, and now Paper X just want to wait and see how Wolves react. Which they do by pushing all the way down long.
这个位置 B 校要见到了，侧身，反杀了，留一手。
Wolves finally thought that they caught a big break by taking long from Paper X, but instead, they've just given up the entirety of B. Yoru and Brimstone have already left, and Devai is charging through Hookah, taking all this control for his team. Pick me up and ultimate active. Even if defenders were here, he could pop it and still gain space or valuable info for his team. And they're sprinting back to take advantage. Something unleashes his Nightfall, and it's up to Su to buy his team time.
地上有线，而且还有暗兽，第一时间打掉，有化蝶，后续再来补强，完全玩不了。
2打3，现在就要看一下 Juicy 这个位置能换几个，先给假身，再给高闪，看一下人还没有从这个烟里面出来，鬼眼在哪儿？没看到。哎，
这鬼眼丢哪儿了？
这鬼眼不知道。万子弹
的声音被听到，先架住点后的进，再上高台，导背也被接住，这真的是纯个人能力硬接啊！ 2楼也来了，窗口 Mad Break 跳上来的 timing 被抓到。
Okay, I'm sorry for clowning on you earlier, but Juicy is cracked. And now I think something taunt gave Paper X a false sense of security that site was free, which explains the poor spacing. But Wolves got away with murder. Long is still a dumpster fire, but how do they manage it? Paper X barely even bothered with it last round. The defense have a tough decision to make. Do they fight it or leave it? Every round Paper Rex have gone long so far, they've been pretty loud. Dry swingings, utility bombings, but this time, they're taking this B-split slow in their early 3-1-1. Now, how have Wolves adjusted to this long dilemma? Well, they're starting 3 here, and Yoru has sent his gate crash through spawn so that he can be here to respond in just a second. Him and Raze are fighting showers while still being able to fight long in an instant. Wolves are hedging their bets. But Fade, why do you only have a sheriff? Like, surely we sell that and sacrifice a prowler so that you can also have a rifle, since you're playing on the most desired piece of map control that Paper Rex want? What kind of budgeting is this? We have a duelist who thinks he's the golden child, and a Fade who would rather prioritize a prowler over a phantom. Like, now this round starts pretty tame. Paper Rex creep out to Fountain, something Prowler's up short since he has the extra time, and Wolves have wide swung showers. They hear this Prowler, which drags over Brimstone and Cypher, but they need info on Long.
有威慑力。
苏菲还敢抓，这回旋跳3把枪直接。
Paper Rex, for the 100th time this game, have Long, and soon to be Hookah with this Prowler. And now the offense start dumping on sight. Boombot, Nade, Gravnet. But here's the thing. The attackers know that B-Long has been such a pain in the neck all game for Wolves that rotates are surely coming. They're probably even over-rotating. The odds that only one person is anchoring A are high.
但还好没进，第一时间直接传送器过来，哦 ，Spring 直接被摘了。
小陈这波断
And Paper Rex would be right. The offense now have an open A site. After abusing B-Long round after round, Paper Rex picked the perfect time to take the teleporter and caught Raze with her pants at her ankles. And now, Wolves have to retake 3 versus 5, starting from spawn.
回防，一直在回防，一直在打这种不公平的对枪，这个会很，你看，明显这个手感就已经出问题了。
对，这直接用。
Wolves are all out of options and kinda have their hands tied. Sure, they can keep fighting long, but Paper Rex can just leave, like how they did after that timeout. Wolves can play normally, but what if Paper Rex slam long again? The defense are basically at the casino. The house always wins. On round 3, Wolves did fantastic at trapping long. It's just that Forsaken hit a nasty spray transfer. Or remember when Cypher walked down long? That was great too. Lysor just whiffed. Or last round, Raze just got caught out of position. As much as you guys want me to crash out, Wolves already have the correct counters to this game plan. Either fight up into long before Paper Rex can bombard sight, or push out of the extremities because Paper Rex don't have a true sentinel to hold map control. But there's one thing they haven't tried yet. 5 stacking B. Wolves are tired of getting pushed around, bullied, and they're standing up for themselves. This long spam ends now.
那个振奋信标
啊，哎，3个人拉出来，直接被 Mindfreak 1穿2了。 进，直接惊喜攀登过来找，哦哟，这一波
只有 Spring 打掉1个，
提节奏提的
重力补网，
重力补网直接补到了。
Okay, let's try that again. With guns, maybe they can win long this time? There's only 2 here.
哦，4个人来到 B 场，直接打闪，闪出，但好像闪还没出来。
重力补网全抓了，重力补网全抓了，天际光束
给的慢了一点点。 没有形成
Like I said, Paper Rex just have too much crowd control utility to dominate Garden. A 4-stack just lost to 2 players. At the start of the round, Forsaken launched his Gravnet high into the sky, and it trapped the defense in this space, making them easy pickings. And these two just dodged this big-ass laser. And Paper Rex did send Tuah Puka since Long's been so easy to take. Cypher is getting pinched.
给的慢了一点点。 没有形成击杀，但在1楼看一下刘一手这个位置人非常多，直接落地了。刘一手能够接2个人，这一波刘一手非常关键，强行把
Okay, maybe Paper Rex were feeling too confident. Had the Hookah players just waited for their long teammates to be ready, this site would have been theirs, especially with this barrier mesh blocking the spawn flood. Instead, the offense are forced to settle for plan B, go A, which has been left open due to the constant B bombardment. Plus, Clove's been holding short, serving as their team's release valve and making the A pivot easier. But with 2 big ultimates online, this post plan is going to be hard to convert.
夜路有大 ，Juicy 在找，
已经在找了，
拿信息，
天际光束想卡他的位置，
没卡到，
直接在小黑屋，狼队的 YU 已经连收2个，最后由 Juicy 的夜路大招出来，短炮喷掉对方最后一个
Fighting, stacking, over-rotating, hitting the subscribe button, it doesn't matter. Wolves have finally thrown in the towel and are full retaking B. But they do have Fade's Nightfall and Raise a Showstopper backing that retake up. This could work. And surprise, surprise, Paper Rex are pounding B again. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. They sprint past the buy barrier and wide swing long. Deadlock's net lands. Jing sends out his boombot, followed up by a paint shells lineup that destroys every possible sight trip. Now Wolves are just letting this happen. They're allowing Paper Rex to waste all of their utility and save none of it for the post plant.
直接进点，现在对于狼队来说规避就可以了。这确实点内守不住啊。这两个终极技能感觉太强势了。
For the entire game, the defense have been resisting Paper Rex's hits, but now that conditioning is being used against the offense. Here's what they had before the execute, and here's what's left. Now it's time for the retake. During that execute, Juicy took his gate crash and is held onto elbow. Brim's going through spawn, and these two through the teleporter. Fade sends out a prowler, and it latches onto the lurk.
甚至还有夜灵啊，
晚焰火
这个炸。但是2楼还有一个 Forsaken。
是。 而且进这个位置躲了个闪，回过头来还把 Juicy 给秒了。
给了燃烧榴弹，但脸上有贴片啊，根本玩不了，还被优爪抓到俩。好在是有烟能够稍微拖延一下。
是的。 但强行出烟看到一个，但
Okay, there's a lot going on in this picture. First, notice how when this rocket bursts through the teleporter, Devi at first runs away, but then notices that Forsaken is close by. So he swings Raze, hoping Springs locks onto him, because if Clove dies, they can still smoke. But if Deadlock goes down, these sensors that are vital to Paper X's post plant are now useless. I award you the Medal of Honor. Medal. Now as for Sufat, Mindfreak wrapped him late around Hookah. Brimstone realized that his team had the execute under control and he wasn't needed. So Mindfreak hung back to hold onto Long and secured the flank. Then Jing and Something pushed Elbow in response to this teleport play. Because if their two teammates went down, at least Paper Rex now had more breathing room to play with. Then pile all that on top of a stun sensor, barrier mesh, and C's that made it impossible to get out of spawn, Paper Rex had a perfect round. Well, the whole playing for retake thing didn't work, but at this point, I don't know what will. Wolves have had the right responses, and I feel like a couple more aim duels go their way, and this game isn't so one-sided. They did well to adjust on the fly to this unorthodox comp, but Paper Rex just hit harder. This comp, when run well, is impossible to stop. But who knows, maybe 10th time's the charm. Round 12 opens up quick, with Juicy trying to skip across Long, but Paper Rex swing too quick and is forced to teleport. Being able to get slotted in there could have finally been the setup Wolves needed to fend off these attackers, but not this round. Now, before the round started, Yoru committed his gate crash to Ticket Booth instead of being used as a quick rotate like we've seen before. So he's back and ready to spring back into action. Get it? Spring. But Paper X have slowed down for a couple reasons. One, they might have heard Yoru teleport close. That means it could be a stack. And two, they've sent 3 people into Hookah this round. They've broken in, but Juicy's killed Jing. He and Sufat fought Long behind a flash for the Prowler. Then Fade and Raze combo their nade and C's for Hookah, bagging 2 more kills. I think. We don't have a replay system. But for the first time this game, Wolves have finally defended B. Their stack and early fighting has worked. The defense successfully beat back Paper X before they could get close and bombard the site. But it wasn't easy. So now we know that slamming B long every round can work, but what about retaking C on Haven every round? Well, that works too. Watch this video and you'll see what I mean.